After a pretty boring game last night, the Phillies move forward to tonight, a nationally televised game, and they have a battle of potential aces. Tyler Mroz, Heat Ratio Sports Phillies pregame show. You see it right there. Max Fried on the mound for the Braves, 8-7 with a 3.50 ERA this year. And then Zach Wheeler, 12-6, a 2.74 ERA. The game is on Fox tonight. A little note about that. The lead commentator for tonight's game is Brandon Gaudin, and he is actually the Atlanta Braves play-by-play guy. So he's like that Tom McCarthy role for the Braves. So should be interesting to see. Reading comments, a lot of people say he's good at not being biased, and especially because he's with, I believe he's with John Smoltz too. So you have the Braves play-by-play commentator and then one of the best Braves pitchers of all time. But Smoltz is usually pretty non-biased when it comes to the Braves on national television, at least when I watch it. So we shall see. Watching from Cedar Hill, Texas. What's going on, David? How you doing? That's awesome, man. Last night, again, Braves won 7-2. Phillies did not do well with runners in scoring position. They had 2 solo home runs. Ranger Suarez really struggled, and really that's about it. Another lineup tonight, no daycare, no Alec Boehm. He's out again with that hand injury. Potentially could be back in this series, but they said that they're going to use the next couple of days to get the swelling in his hand down. So don't know if he's going to even be in the lineup tomorrow. Maybe he'll be back for Toronto since there is a day off on Monday. No Bryson Stott or Brandon Marsh using their lefty lineup since Max Fried is a left-handed pitcher. Weston Wilson's playing third base. Edmundo Sosa is at second. Johan Rojas in center field. Don't know how I feel about Weston Wilson at third base. Really prefer him to be the second base guy. He's primarily a left fielder. That's where he's played most of his time in the majors. So I think Sosa is a better fit for third base. Wilson didn't do the greatest during that last week's game against the Braves. Wilson was playing third base. I would rather have had, like I said, Sosa at third. He's more of a third baseman, especially compared to Weston Wilson. And then we talked about it yesterday. Bryce Harper has been dealing with some injuries, elbow and wrist problems. So maybe that's why his power has not been there. A lot of people speculated that he may be dealing with some injuries, and then Bryce Harper confirmed it yesterday. Hopefully, this isn't going to affect him for the rest of the season and going into October. So we'll see how Harper deals with it. I mean, he announced it yesterday, and he went 3 for 4. So maybe injured Harper is better because remember when he had that Tommy John surgery, he was going crazy at the bat. Even before he couldn't throw, but the DH, he had one of the best postseasons the Phillies have ever seen. And then the next season where he still couldn't throw, he was batting over 300 as the DH. It wasn't even hitting for power at that point. And then once he got his power back, he was going crazy. So Bryce Harper, if there's anybody that can play well with some injuries, it is Bryce Harper. And for the Braves, Travis d'Arnaud at catcher. Sean Murphy usually plays against left-handed pitchers. Obviously, Zach Wheeler is a righty, so Travis d'Arnaud getting the start. Sean Murphy had a home run and 2 RBIs last night, so kind of shocked to see them not going with the hot hand, but that's how Brian Snitker manages, so Travis d'Arnaud will be behind the plate tonight. Let's get to the keys to the game. Mentioned it earlier, Philly struggled with hitting with runners in scoring position last night. 0 for 5, I believe. You can't do that. Left a lot of guys on base. Forget the exact number. But again, this is a huge series. This is the biggest series of the season so far. Braves are 5 games behind you. They hold the tiebreaker over them. So need to win these next 2 games. Even if you split it, it's fine. As long as you don't lose 3 of the 4, you have to hit with runners in scoring position to do so. They did not do that last night, and they lost by 5 runs. So see where it gets you. Same thing with striking out. Striking out and not doing anything with runners in scoring position, that will get you nowhere. It'll actually get you somewhere. It'll get you a loss in the loss column. Make Max Fried uncomfortable. Not the greatest season against the Phillies so far. This will be his 4th game. So in 3 games, 0-1 with a 6.59 ERA and 9 strikeouts. Had a decent game against the Phillies last week or 10 days ago. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. Only walked one batter. So he had a really good game then. He's been getting better and better as his games go on against the Phillies. Gave up 3 runs in not even a full inning during his first start. Gave up 5 runs in 6 innings in his second start, 11 hits in that game as well. So numbers are just going down and lower and lower. So we'll see if Max Fried, speaking of Toronto Blue Jays, Will Wagner hit a beautiful home run 3 days ago. Congratulations to him. Good luck to him. Keep it going. So happy for him. Is he a rookie? Name doesn't look him up. Will Wagner. Is he a rookie? Defensive line. Wait, that's not the same guy. Here we go. Rookie. Right? Yeah, looks like it. Good for him. First major league home run. That's awesome. So, yeah, congrats to Will Wagner. Phillies may see him coming up. They play Tuesday and Wednesday in Toronto. And then obviously it's Wheels Up Day. He's always a crucial factor. Has a really good year against the Braves in just 2 games. Has more strikeouts than Max Fried does against the respective teams. Max Fried has 3 games. Wheeler has 2 so far. 12 innings, a 1.50 ERA, 13 strikeouts. Went 6 innings in both games. Struck out 8 in his previous start, which was not too long ago. Still did give up 2 runs, but one of them was a home run by Marcell Ozuna. He has a ton of them this year. He has close to 40, I believe, at this point. But Zach Wheeler, especially if the Phillies offense struggles again, this is the kind of game where maybe the offense can afford to not do as well as they usually do because Zach Wheeler is likely only giving up anywhere from 0 to 3 runs. That's usually the typical Zach Wheeler start. If it was a Sunday game, that'd be a different story, but it is a Saturday night. So Zach Wheeler needs to do really well, especially against a Braves lineup that scored 7 runs against this team last night. And speaking of runs, we got to see what we got cooking today for the HRS Triple Play, which has been red hot. So let's see what we got cooking today. Hit 3 last night. We hit the Bryson Stott at plus 1,200 for a home run. We hit the, what did we hit? Ranger Suarez over 4.5 strikeouts. And then was it JT Realmuto to get 1.5 HRR, I believe? So, yeah, we hit 3 of 4 last night. Another really solid night. So, let's see what we got tonight. Max Fried. I usually do all Phillies, but tonight we have some one Brave. Max Fried under 6.5 strikeouts at minus 180 in all 3 of his starts this year. He's gotten 1 strikeout, 4 and 4. So I don't think that he's going to get more than 5. So 6.5 being the line. Really like those odds. Weston Wilson over 1.5 HRR at plus 115. He is batting, what is he batting? 7th, I believe. Yeah, he's batting 7th. So he'll get more at bats than he usually does. And he does really well against left-handers, batting over 300 against them. And he's 1 for 2 in his career against Fried. So definitely has some history with him. So I really like those odds as well. And then Austin Hayes to get 2+ total bases at plus 150. Another guy who's batting 500 in his career against Max Fried. And I mean, Austin Hayes, I feel like he always gets at least 1 hit. So I feel like he can get 2 singles today or a double. And he's batting 6th today. He usually bats 9th or 8th. So batting 6th today, he's going to get more at bats. Could get 4 to 5. So we'll see. I really like that one as well. And then the bonus bet, Edmundo Sosa was this close from hitting one yesterday. And then with the lefty in the lineup today, I can see him hitting one out tonight at plus 650. Hit the odds at plus 1,200 yesterday. So why not hit one at plus 650 tonight? And why not going to win daily, using that code HEAT and getting 50% off? Not Phillies. I'm talking about the Phillies so much. The Eagles, their first game is in less than a week, so I don't think this code is lasting much longer. So you want to get over to Win Daily now. Use that code HEAT. You get 50% off on all your best bets. Again, Max Fried under 6.5 strikeouts. Weston Wilson over 1.5 HRR, and then Austin Hayes to get 2+ total bases. And then something we always do. The first half, always Phillies. And then talk about the not just Philly moments of the day, because here at Heat Ratio Sports, we're not just Philly. Yeah, we talk about the Phillies for their pre and post game show. We'll talk about the Eagles. Obviously, we are Philly bred and born, but that sports world isn't just in Philadelphia, as a lot of people would like to think it is. It is not all over. Many things to talk about. So I like talking about anything else besides the Phillies because, it's a good thing. Former Phillies everywhere. Speaking of the Phillies, it was really cool. The Angels called up Spencer Arrigati, the former Philly. They traded him in the Carlos Estevez trade. So here's a cool stat. Sam Aldigari threw his first big league pitch to Logan O'Hoppe, former Phillies prospect, who they traded for Brandon Marsh. Did we trade it? Yeah, we traded him for Brandon Marsh. It was hit by J.P. Crawford, who was traded from the Phillies to the Mariners for Gene Segura, and then caught by Mickey Moniak, former Phillies #1 overall pick. He was in the Noah Syndergaard trade. So a pretty cool stat there to see that game filled with former Phillies and former Phillies prospects. Can't wait to see Saquon Barkley in an Eagles uniform. I can't either. I feel like he's going to have a really big year. I'm not as high on him as other people are. I know Tony is to the moon and back about him. He took him second overall in his draft. I wouldn't take him that far. I would take him early second round, just because I think Jalen Hurts is still going to be getting a good amount of rushing yards and rushing touchdowns that could take away from Saquon. Plus, there's the injury concern, obviously, you have with him, but I definitely do think he is going to have a monster year for the Birds. Dodgers, I didn't get to finish this, so let's forget about it. Let's look about what happened last night. The Dodgers opened up their series against the Diamondbacks. They are pretty close in the standings in the National League West. Dodgers winning 10-9. They were up 10-5 in the bottom of the ninth. Diamondbacks scored 4 runs, so they were this close to coming back. Mookie Betts is now back for the Dodgers, so their starting 3 in their lineup is Ohtani, Betts, Freddie Freeman, and then you got Teoscar Hernandez, who's having a career year in the cleanup spot. A really tough team to face in October, but again, Dave Roberts has a questionable history in October, so we shall see. Speaking of playoff contenders, Vinny Pasquantino, mentioned him yesterday, out 6 to 8 weeks with a broken wrist. Royals bringing in some backup, the cavalry. Tommy Pham and Robbie Grossman, they claimed off of waivers, and then they made a minor league trade with the Braves to acquire first baseman Yuli Gurriel. Gurriel, former World Series champion. Grossman, I believe, is a former World Series champion. I don't think Tommy Pham has a World Series championship, but he has been to the World Series. He was there last year with the Diamondbacks. He was a crucial part of that team. So Royals getting some depth in to replace Pasquantino. So Royals making moves, trying to stay in that American League Central race. And then speaking of the American League Central, Emmanuel Clase, the closer for the Cleveland Guardians, becomes their all-time saves leader at 150? Crazy numbers. Yeah, 150. And he's only 26 years old, 40 saves on the season so far. And he is by far and away the reliever of the year. I would even consider him for a Cy Young, which is in the American League, which you never hear a closer get that because it's really a starting thing. And then the reliever of the year is for the relievers. But listen to these stats this year. He has 63 games. He has a .71 ERA. In 63 innings pitched, he has how many strikeouts? Where are the strikeouts? I just saw Baseball Reference is weird with the strikeout. He has, I can't find the strike, 55 strikeouts. So unbelievable numbers. One of the best relieving seasons we've seen ever. But definitely the best since Zach Britton did it with the Orioles in, 2016. So shout out Emmanuel Clase. Was hoping the Phillies could get him in this offseason. Going into the year, I said that they were missing a closer. They have that with the Estevez now, obviously, but Cleveland was a questionable. They didn't know if they were going to sell. Terry Francona had retired, so they hired Stephen Vogt as their manager. So a lot of questions in the beginning of the year with the Guardians. I was hoping the Phillies would somehow get Clase, young reliever, under control, one of the best in the game. Probably the best right now. So Manuel Clase at just 26 years old, 150 saves, #1 all time for the Guardians. Dodgers are so lucky that they have the bats because, come on, bullpen, you got to start stepping up if you want to win the World Series. Shout out, Stairway to Heaven started playing on my phone. I don't know why. But, yeah, the Dodgers, they didn't really have Ohtani. I mean, obviously, they didn't have Ohtani last year. Lost to the Padres 2 seasons ago. And who did they lose to last year? Was it the Diamondbacks? I believe the Diamondbacks beat them. I want to confirm that because I don't want to be reporting on any fake news. There's Abby. Yeah, Diamondbacks swept them. So, yeah, Dodgers do have a questionable past in the postseason. They won the World Series in 2020, but that has a major asterisk on it because it was the COVID year. It played at a neutral site, and obviously they played half of the games that they did in the regular season. So Dodgers always looking dangerous, but I feel like it's different this year with Shohei Ohtani. So we'll see how they do. Maybe the Phillies will run into them. And then Cardinals, their first win at Yankee Stadium since 1964, which is a mind back. I thought it meant series, but no, it's their first game that they won in Yankee Stadium since the 1964 World Series in a game where Bob Gibson pitched. And today, was it Kyle Gibson that pitched for them today? So a pretty cool stat. Let me confirm. Yeah, Bob Gibson was pitching in that game in 1964, and then Kyle Gibson today. So are they on the same level of? Obviously not. Kyle Gibson is a decent pitcher. Got Bob Gibson is one of the best pitchers of all time. Now college football this weekend, week 1, Georgia absolutely beat down on Clemson 34-3. Carson Beck looked really good. That whole team looked really good. So Georgia really looking like by far and away the number 1 favorites for the national championship this season. You had Penn State demolish West Virginia. Everybody was like, "Oh, West Virginia!" Because the game got delayed for a little bit, I believe, because of weather. So there people were like, "Oh, if it didn't get delayed, West Virginia would have killed Penn State." But it ended up being the other way around. Penn State dominated them. So number 8 could be moving up, but no upsets as of right now. Let's take a look at the scores right now because I don't think that there's any upsets going to happen. Yeah, Miami's up on Florida. Looking at all the ranked teams. Ohio State's whooping Akron. Texas is whooping Colorado State. Ole Miss plays tonight. Obviously, Alabama, Oregon, Michigan. So, yeah, no upsets that I know of. Everything looks pretty on par as to what people were projecting. So a huge one here, one of the biggest games of this week and potentially the season. Dabo Sweeney, a lot of people are saying he can't win without generational quarterbacks. Obviously, he had Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson. So not much success in the recent years for the Clemson Tigers. So we'll see if they can get it together. Yeah, it did take 60 years to win for the Cardinals at Yankee Stadium. Incredibly sad. Like I said, I thought it was a series win. I thought that meant a series win, but no, it was just a game. So 60 years without winning. I know it's the different leagues, so it's kind of hard to kind of win a lot of games there because you don't really play there. It was like every 6 years or something that teams were visiting other ballparks, but still, that's a pretty insane stat. You bet on Georgia. Yeah. I believe Georgia was only like minus 16. It was something in the teens. So projected to be a close game, was not a close game. Georgia ended up winning by 31. And speaking of in the 30s, Caitlin Clark scored her career high 31 points today. So let's get a little follow up. She went head to head with the Chicago Sky. Fellow Rookie of the Year candidate Angel Reese. They went head to head. Caitlin Clark ended up getting a double-double, is she leading the league in assists? She's doing something crazy, but a lot of people have been debating on whether or not it's Caitlin Clark or it's Angel Reese. It's Caitlin Clark. There's no question about it. I don't really think it's a debate. They have the whole argument of Angel Reese getting the double-doubles as well as a rookie, but from the games I have watched, it looks like she gets a majority of those rebounds off her own misses. She has a 38.6% field goal percentage as a big man, or do you call it a big man still? I don't know, forward, center. But yeah, I still think Angel Reese is really good. Obviously, she's a rookie. She's going to be here in the WNBA for years to come. One of the best players there. People are comparing the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese to Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and it very well could be for the WNBA because this is the most popular the WNBA has been ever, and they are on the rise, and it is because of these two women. So again, like I said with the Ohtani Judge debate, just be happy that you get to witness these two play. Just be appreciative of what you got. Both can be very good, but I think right now for the Rookie of the Year conversation, I think Caitlin Clark should be the heavy favorite. And then today, WWE's Bash in Berlin happened. All really good matches. Got to watch some of it. Gunther won. I think I went 5 for 5 in my predictions. So next pay-per-view premium live event is Bad Blood in Atlanta, Georgia, October 4th. So a little bit over a month. So yeah, really good event from WWE. They've been hot for the past year ever since Triple H took over. But post-game, there might be. I am going to a dinner at 7 o'clock. So yeah, I got to get running here. Might be a post-game. I definitely won't be able to watch the first half of the game. So I'll try and get back, watch the second half, and get on here for a post-game. But if not, have a good night, everyone. Appreciate everyone tuning in as always. If not, I'll be here live for post-game at 5:30 tomorrow. Game's at 7, but I am going to the game tomorrow, so pretty exciting stuff. So doing a little bit of an early pregame today. Lineup came out really early today, so hopefully that's what it is tomorrow. So appreciate everyone again, as always. I've been Tyler Mroz for Heat Ratio Sports Phillies pregame show. Have a good night, everyone. Stay safe. Hopefully I can see you at the postgame show if there is one. And as always, stay fresh, my friends. Take care, everyone.